Welcome back. I'm so excited to be here with you today. We're diving into part two of your market trends report and how to set your business up for success in the third quarter. If this is your very first time ever being on one of my live streams, my name is Kelly Roach. I am the founder of the Business Advisory. And since 2012, we have been helping entrepreneurs like you build winning teams and successful and profitable companies that scale. We specialize in helping people move through 7 and even 8 figures of growth online. And today is really going to dial in and focus on understand the market adaptations that are necessary to capitalize on both the challenges and the opportunities that lie ahead for all of us. So, before we get started, first of all, let me know if you were here yesterday, what was one of the things that you took away from the session? If this is your very first time on the live, let me know. Comment very first time on the live so that we can say hello to you. Okay. And if you know that this is going to be an action packed session that other entrepreneurs probably should be here watching with you, do me a solid and share this session out. Sharing is caring. And the more people that we can get this message out to, the more businesses are not just going to survive, but thrive in the coming market conditions. So I would be hugely grateful if you would share this out. Definitely let me know in the chat. If you were here yesterday, what did you get out of the session yesterday? What was a takeaway that you're going to take action on? And if it's your very first time here, definitely let me know so that myself and the business advisory team can welcome you in. Also, want to let you know that we have all different team members from the business advisory, strategists, our leaders. They're here and they're on the live right now. So if you have questions at any point during today's live session, you can pop it right in the chat there. And one of two things will happen. Either a team member will answer that question for you, or they'll throw it up there on the screen for me, and I'll answer it for the group if we feel like it's something that we can actually help everyone with while we're here live. So very, very excited to be back here with you all. Thanks for joining me. And before we get started, I do want to remind you that we put together a 20-question health check for you. And this is probably the easiest way for us to highlight very quickly and easily where you need to focus your organization, because it gives you the opportunity to self-assess 20 of the most important things that are going to ensure that your business is able to grow sustainably in the coming weeks and months. The team is going to go ahead and put that link in the chat for you now. We'll throw it up on the screen here. If you didn't take that already, you're going to want to go ahead and do that now. And if you did already, today will hopefully be a bit of a refresh as we touch on some of the most important items that you answered questions around in the health check. If at any time during today's live session, you decide that you would like to have a call with the business advisory team to learn more about how we can help you to set your team up strategically for success in the coming months and really elevate your business growth strategy so that you can win in the remainder of 2024, you can simply comment, book a call, and a member of the business advisory team will reach out to you to do that. Once again, the link for the health check is right there on the screen. You can see it there in the bottom corner. It's also in the chat. So if you haven't done that already, go ahead and do that, because it's going to really help to clarify focal points for you. And we started with that for a very important reason. One of the most common things that we hear from business owners all the time is that they just wish they had more time. I wish there were more hours in the day. I'm just too busy. There's just too much to do. I can't grow because I don't have enough time. And one of the greatest gifts and most important mindset shifts that I can give you in order to elevate your business from 7 to 8 figures and even beyond that is to understand that you actually don't need more time. Most business owners could have an extra 80 hours a week doing more of what they're already doing, and their business wouldn't grow. And so the purpose of the health check is for you to understand that in order for your business to grow, it's not about you being less busy. It's not about you having less on your plate. It's not about you having more time. It's about you understanding clearly where you need to focus your energy as the CEO of your organization, as the visionary leader, in order to drive sustainable growth. And so I want you to take the health check, or if you already took the health check, I want you to reflect on that. And I want you to ask yourself, what tasks do you need to fire yourself from right away, in order to focus on the things in that health check? Because if you don't make time and energy and focus for the things that are going to move the needle in the business, it doesn't matter how many more hours you put in of work. It's just going to be more of the same. Okay. So I want you to comment growth in the chat right now. If you are going to fire yourself from some low level tasks, if you're going to get some things off your plate, if you are going to put some things on pause, and you are going to really center your energy and focus in the third quarter around profit producing activities. Actually, comment profit in the chat down below for me if you are going to focus on really aligning your energy with those items in the health check. We didn't want there to be any confusion for you in where to focus and how to get results, which is why we gave you the health check. It's showing you a literal roadmap for growth. It's showing you literally the top 20 things that you need to be paying attention to as a CEO of your organization, in how you align your team, how you invest your dollars, and how you plan out your strategy in order to see the success, the growth, and the profits that you want to achieve. So let me know in the chat if you have commented the health check. You can write done if you've gotten that done. And we want to make sure that you have that as a foundation for today's conversation, because what we're about to talk about is so incredibly exciting. And for me, as a CEO, being in the online space since 2012, having been on the Inc. 5000 list multiple times, multiple best-selling books, one of the top 1% podcasts in the world, one of the only female-led eight-figure businesses to skyrocket in the online space and help others to do the same, I am here to tell you that focus is power and simplicity scales. And what is so exciting about this moment right now, as we talked about yesterday, yes, we are witnessing a shakeoff period right now. We are seeing a lot of the weaklings fall off. We're seeing a lot of the people who came into your industry or your market or your space during kind of the boom, they're now going bust because they didn't have the teeth in the foundation of how they were building their business to succeed long term. That's not you. That's not you. You are here because you are ready to build success over decades. And we want to help you to understand what sustainable success looks like over the long term so that you can capitalize on the market that we're in today. We are all very clear and we are all very aware that we are experiencing economic contraction and turmoil on one hand. And we talked yesterday extensively about how the online markets and a lot of the spaces that you all are in have moved into the next phase of market maturity, which means that it's adapt or die. And that's why we're seeing such a significant shakeoff period, because many have not gotten the memo that you have to adapt your strategy in a mature market, and you have to go to market very differently than you would in a growth market. We just came out of over 10 years of explosive growth in the online market and in a lot of the spaces that we all operate in. But the really, really good news is that by 2030, the e-learning market is estimated to cross over $1 trillion in revenue. It is exploding. For those of you that are in coaching or consulting, you hear from people all the time, coaching is dead. The coaching market is crumbling. Coaching is falling away. False. And that's completely wrong. Actually, the trajectory of the coaching market is still continuing to explode at rates faster than the overall market growth. And what that means for those of you that teach, you coach, you consult, your education of any kind, the online coaching space is expected to reach $11.7 billion in market growth by 2032. So I am here to raise the flag for all of you and tell you that regardless of economic conditions, regardless of the changes in the market, regardless of the shifts that you see in the online space, the opportunity for you and everyone else you know that does what you do to make your dreams come true has never been bigger, brighter, and more viable, because the growth is going to happen whether you participate in it or not. And my invitation to you today is to really open yourself up and remember why you got started and what the fire that you had behind the growth that you were pursuing was in the past. And to understand that the trajectory of the market that you are in is probably explosive, but you have to get out of your own way and you have to be pliable and adaptable to understand that in different seasons of business and different seasons of market conditions and different seasons of economic contraction and expansion, your strategy has to look really, really different. Or to you, you do feel like your industry is crumbling. You do feel like it's oversaturated. You do feel like you don't know how you're going to make sales or where you're going to make sales or, whatever the case is going to look like. Okay. So comment mindset in the chat right now if that just flipped a switch for you. Comment mindset in the chat right now. If that was clear for you, if you kind of were able to zoom out to the bigger picture of where your opportunity is. Comment mindset in the chat now. And if you had a shift that happened from what I just shared, I want you to go ahead and share that in the chat, because we all have to support each other. We need community. You all need community. We all need community. So don't be afraid to share your comments on the thread of this chat. Don't be afraid to participate in the conversation. We want this to be a two-way dialogue where you're learning and you're growing and you're also contributing for the overall community that is attending this session today. Okay. So I love it. I love it. Thank you. I see Eric and I see Success by the Book and I see Michelle and I see who else do we just have up there? Winnie and Rhonda. They're all saying mindset, mindset. They're getting it right. Okay. So the opportunity is there. So the opportunity knocks, right? The opportunity is absolutely there. The opportunity knocks. And the key is going to be, how do you adapt your strategy to unlock the potential that is there in your market, regardless of whether you take advantage of it or not? Okay. And so now I want to go ahead and pull up our worksheet for today. And Krista, if you could help me with that, that would be fantastic. Everyone should have this worksheet already. If you don't have it, you can just comment worksheet in the chat and the team will go ahead and get that over to you. Okay. So yesterday we went through the phases of growth. We identified how we moved into a mature market in a lot of the industries and spaces that you're in. If you scroll down, Krista, we talked about what to do about it. And we talked about the core four adjustments that you need to make. What did we talk about? We talked about streamlining your operations. We talked about cost management. We talked about differentiating and innovating. We talked about the four areas of differentiation and innovation. And we talked about niching down. Now we're going to go even deeper and we're going to really talk about, what does this look like in Q3? What changes do you need to make sales every day? What changes do you need to make in your strategy right now to start making more sales in your business and to start capitalizing on the market and going with the flow of the market instead of fighting against it? Is there anyone here that would like to go with the flow of the market instead of fighting against it? Let me know in the chat. Is there anyone here that would like to go with the flow of the market instead of fighting against it? I know I would. Okay. And so this is why market adaptation is so important, because you want to be able to align with where the market is going. Okay. So in our first quadrant, we have pricing. Okay. And we know that in the market of today, the consumer mentality has changed a lot, right? People are taking their time to make significant investments. They're spending far longer vetting the brands that they're going to work with. They're sitting in the ecosystem longer. They want more risk reversal. So what are the things that you can do in the third quarter around pricing to make your offers more attractive and to make more sales more often so that you can grow more quickly, right? Well, there's kind of 3 or 4 core things that I would recommend that you look at. And what I want to really emphasize here, guys, is that this is not a one size fits all. I talked about this yesterday and I want to be really, really clear about this. When a market is going through the kind of evolution that all of our markets are going through, you can't copy and paste. There's no copy and paste. Okay. You have to be willing to test. You have to be willing to put different things out there. You have to be willing to try new things. You have to be willing to trust yourself. Now, that said, we have an entire team of advisors on standby that are willing to connect with you live and give you feedback and help you to customize some of what I'm sharing. So you can come and book a call at any time if you think that you might be interested in working with the business advisory and want to learn about how we can help you to do that customization. So let's talk about the couple of things that you want to think about in your pricing. Okay, number one is you want to look at lowering the risk for people. Okay. We've talked before about the value ladder. For many, many years, as a business strategist, I taught and I executed and grew my company with one primary offer and one primary offer only, where people had to invest $25,000 or $30,000 to work with us in our lowest priced offer. When I saw the dynamic of the market so radically changing, I started changing that. And I also started teaching the reason why you need to change that, right? In a rapid growth market where people are also capitalizing on rapid growth, it is very easy to set an extremely high bar and to, have people come and hop over that bar as their first point of entry. Okay. Whereas in a market like today, combining both economic factors and market maturity factors and all of the changes in buyer mentality and consumer mentality, you have to think about lowering that bar. Now, that does not mean, I want to be very, very clear on what I'm not recommending. I am not recommending that you go out and you slash your prices on all of your programs and you start offering things at these hugely discounted rates where you're not going to be making any money anyway and you're going to be completely miserable in your business. I want to be clear on what I'm not recommending. What I am recommending is that you innovate and that you think strategically about your entry points to the business, about easy kind of impulse buys that you can offer to the market to get the first yes, that you have really strong entry points where you can focus on getting people paying you and then elevating them up to your higher tier products. Okay. And I'm also encouraging you to think strategically about how you look at the pricing of the offers that you have. And I'll give a really specific example that I think may be helpful to you in thinking about the way that you position your products. Okay. So Legacy Leaders is one of my programs that is almost a decade old. It's so crazy to think that. I think we're in like year 9. Okay. And this is a program for multi-million dollar business owners that want to basically go from 7 or low 7 figures to 8 figures. And it's a year-long program. And for almost a decade now, that offer has been one price. And that included both coaching and mastermind and 3 events for almost a decade. Hasn't changed except for the price going up and up and up. Okay. And what we're doing now, as we look at how we're innovating around our pricing structure, is we're actually separating out those 2 components. And I'm going to explain the psychology and the reason why we're doing what we're doing. And I think this is going to make a lot of sense. And I'm hoping that giving you a specific example is going to be helpful. Okay. So we're separating out these 2 core components for a couple of reasons. Number one, for the consumer, it gives price flexibility. Number 2, it's less risky for them. Number 3, it's convenient because people can invest in the thing that they know 100% that they're going to use, and they can invest a la carte in the thing that they may or may not use. I'm going to talk more about that in just a second. So it's a lower barrier to entry. It's more customized because people can pick the package that fits them. For example, some people join Legacy Leaders exclusively for the events. The most important thing to them is the retreats that they come to every year. Well, those people can just buy an events package, right? But for some people, they love the weekly coaching on the group calls. They love the masterminding. They love the VIP sessions with Kyrie, and they really maximize all of that. But they maybe, whatever circumstances, they're only able to come to 1 or 2 retreats a year. Well, now those people can pay for the coaching package separately, not pay for the events, and purchase those events a la carte. Okay. So, and vice versa. And we could keep going with the Rubik's Cube of all the different situations and scenarios where this makes sense. So, what does this do for us? Number one, this allows us to make legacy leaders applicable and to meet the consumer need in a more meaningful and customizable way. This also allows more flexibility for people that are joining for a specific reason and aren't necessarily going to take advantage of all components, which is important. I'm going to wave my hand up, emphasizing something that's important about this. This is important because in today's market, people are hesitant to buy things where they feel like they can't take full advantage of them. It is one of the major objections that you will get with high ticket selling is that people are hesitant to buy something that they're not sure that they can take full advantage of. And people will not buy your offer even though they want your offer because of that. And so when you are clarifying the pieces of your offer and associating a price with them, and you look at, is there a distinction? And again, let me be very, very clear. I'm not giving you a recommendation to go out and break your program apart into pieces. I'm giving you an example of innovative thinking that you could take and apply in 100 different ways in your business. But what I can tell you from a pricing standpoint is what this is going to allow us to do is it keeps the coaching program profitable. It makes it more accessible. It makes it applicable to more people, and it makes it a smaller line item for people. On the flip side, by selling the events separately, the events are going to be profitable, right? Because people that are coming in that are paying just for the events are now going to be paying a premium just for the events, which takes the events from costing us money to making money. So while we've actually lowered the cost for someone to take advantage of this program overall, we've increased our ability to make the profits go further in what we're doing. Okay. And so this is just one thing to think about. If you look at your group coaching programs, okay, there are probably a lot of components in your group coaching programs that people are not taking full advantage of. And whereas in the past, people were very much buying and they wanted the whole shebang, they wanted a very comprehensive program with all of these different things in it. Today, people are very much of an opposite mindset of they want light, they want easy, they want customizable, they want convenience. And so think about, is there a light version of what you do? Is there a separate component that you can pull out and sell separately? And I think that the couple things I would say is one, lowering risk, two, flexible options, right? Flexible options that meet specific needs. And three, accessible investment levels. And that's why I said I taught for many, many years, and it's literally how I built my business: one offer, one go to market strategy. I do not believe that in 95% of cases that that's still going to be viable in today's market. I think that you need to have more than one offer. I think that you need to have a value ladder. And I think that you need to have some offers that are almost like impulse buys that people don't need to think and mentally prepare for months in order to make the decision to say yes to. Okay. So I'm going to pause there. I want to ask you specifically, what did you take away from this section that I just shared on pricing? What ideas do you have? Did you have any mindset switches? Was there anything specific that came up for you? Just going to give you a minute there. Doing a moment of reflection is actually going to help you to internalize and clarify your own thinking. So I'm going to give you a moment of reflection to do that. Having an entry point for the audience to get started with you, absolutely. What were your takeaways? Krista, if you can throw some of them up on the screen, that would be awesome. Give the buyers what they want. Having the best next first step. Yes. Trusting myself and my intuition. Huge, Tammy. That's everything. Unbundling packages. I love it. What else? What else is coming up for you guys? I want to give you a minute to think about what we're talking about, because you processing this is very, very important, and it's going to look different for every single person that's watching this. Okay. Value ladder. Absolutely. Okay, great. I just want to ask you, if you are getting value out of this live session and if you're excited about what you're learning here, do me a favor and share this video out. All you have to do is hit share wherever you're viewing it. Hit share so that more people can learn the strategic thinking and this elevated strategy that we're talking about. If you're getting value out of today's session, I would so appreciate if you would share this out so that other people can be exposed to what we're teaching and how we can help them. Okay. So I want you to think about the combination of high ticket and low ticket in your business. You are going to absolutely want to keep your high ticket. So I see Rosie, you're going to want to keep your high ticket offer. We're keeping all of our high ticket offers and we're continuing to sell and focus on our high ticket offers. But what you have to understand is that you also need a pathway that's going to accelerate people's readiness to buy your high ticket offers so that you're not having these long periods without sales as you move people through the nurture period, which has very much extended and slowed down in the last little while. Okay. All right. Let's talk a little bit about offer differentiation. Okay, let's talk a little bit about offer differentiation. So, one of the things that is an important emerging trend that you need to think about in the way that you market is having a very specific need based differentiation. Okay. And we talked yesterday about just the ability to niche down a little bit further or to even clarify what your next blue ocean is, right? Because if you've been in a space for a while and that space is beginning to mature, there are going to be a lot of generalists that are entering your market that do what you do and they copy and paste your strategy and they're speaking the same things and they're talking about the same topics and all of those things. And so, really digging into what is that need based differentiation that you can take to the next level to create authority in almost like a micro niche within your niche so that you can truly differentiate your brand and specialize. We all know that specialists have higher perceived value than generalists. And everyone thinks that they're specific about who they serve and how they serve them. But sometimes we have a perception of ourselves that is not actually translating to the market, right? And so when you go back, you can do a quick content audit after we're done this live stream today and ask yourself, okay, if I scroll through my social media, is there a need based differentiation? Is there a niche within the niche that makes it really clear who I am a specialist for versus just a generalist in my overall niche? Those are two different things, right? And looking at where you're having the most success in your program, looking at the clients that are getting the best results, looking at who is winning in your products and services, and then doubling down on that group of people and trying to find more people that are in that super niche, that micro niche of that area that is seeing success in your brand is going to help you to stand out in the market and differentiate. Okay. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, and we talked a little bit about this before, but I'll bring this up again, is having more specialized offers. And I think people kind of misinterpret this a lot and they go run off and they're like, okay, I need to build new pages and a new campaign and new assets and new landing pages. And, I need to go record all this new content. That's not what I'm referring, right? When I'm talking about more specialized and targeted offers, people want things that meet a tangible, specific need in real time. Okay. Write that down. That's actually one of the most important things I'm going to talk about. A tangible, specific need in real time. And as the world of online marketing and as the internet has become more and more a part of people's daily lives, their tolerance for the space and time between when they invest and when they get an outcome has shortened, right? We all know that. If you're in the coaching and consulting space, you certainly know that. So, when you think about going back to what I just talked about, making sure that that value ladder is going to allow you to make daily sales and you're going to have offers that you're putting out that are going to get people to make that first decision to say yes to you. And then you're going to build on that yes. A great thing to think about is what are some of these like one time, whether it's live, whether it's a paid workshop, whether it's a VIP experience, maybe it's a special, mini course, what is it that you can provide to your audience that is going to meet a specific, tangible need right away to get them an immediate result that gets them over that psychological safety hurdle of, is this person the real deal? Am I actually going to get a result? Is it going to be worth the investment? I've tried all these other things. Is it going to work for me? You can resolve all of that with selling something that is an easy yes for people, over delivering and creating that wow experience for them, and then upselling them into the other things within your value ladder. And one of the most important things in this market is, with the big changes that are happening, you're obviously going to continue to do your launch cycling. You're going to continue selling one to many in whatever way you do that in your business. But you need to have a daily sales strategy. You have to have something that you can be acquiring customers every day with ease online, so that you then are building a bigger and bigger and bigger pool of people that are getting that wow experience, where the price is here and the result that they're getting is here. Okay. So that then you can go back to them and move them up that value ladder. And you're going to find that more and more of your high ticket buyers are going to come from your own low ticket buyers. Okay. So I want you to really think about that. Counter the market, right? Counter the market and challenge the status quo. A lot of you guys have been in your space for long enough that just a little bit of critical thinking will allow you to identify the common issues and concerns that people have that are frustrating, that would be the reason why someone would want to buy your offer instead of someone else's. I'll give another very specific example because I just did this. When I was developing the virtual business school, basically I looked at the market and I said, on one hand, we have these course creators that in many instances are selling a course that they created 3 years ago, 5 years ago. They continue to sell the same product. Everything has changed. You're getting out of date information and you have to go figure it out on your own. On the other hand, we have a lot of these membership style vault systems where you log in and you get 8,000 trainings and you have to sort through all these different things. You have to try and find what you're looking for. And in doing that, you're coming across a lot of out of date materials, a lot of fluff, a lot of stuff you don't need. You're spending countless hours searching and trying to seek and find what you want. And then, of course, there's formal business education that gives you a lot of theory, but no actionable result. So when I was developing the virtual business school, I decided to create a whole new category and really kind of find that open gap between all of these other different established spaces, where with the virtual business school, as we're releasing new materials, like it's new, it's raw, real time, and it's completely tactable and tangible, where we're giving templates, we're giving, actual structures for people to follow right away so that they can take action in real time and get an immediate result. Right. And I knew that because as a buyer in my own space, I've bought the courses, I've bought the memberships, I've done the formal education, and I experience all of those pain points. And what's so interesting, and I really hope you guys are getting this because it's super important to understand. What's so interesting is what happens to business owners is we fall in love with our own product. We fall in love with our own way of doing things. We fall in love with our own idea, and we become blind to actually seeing the wide open gaps of opportunity that we may need to adapt or that we may need to innovate in order to take advantage of, right? So it would have been easy for me to say, oh, the membership space, it's a dime a dozen. It's so crowded. It's going to be so hard. How am I going to figure this out? Right? No, it is. It's completely saturated. It is a dime a dozen. There are 1,000 other people out there offering business memberships of all kinds. But I was able to not focus on being in love with my product, but instead being obsessed with where the gap was in the market and asking myself, how can I fill this gap in a meaningful way that no one else is, and have a need based differentiation in the product where it's not about me. It's not about why I love the virtual business school and why I think it's so great. It's really looking at what is the unmet need, even in a mega saturated market, that people are not taking the initiative to take advantage of, essentially. Is this making sense for you guys? Give me some comments in the chat. I want to pause there for a second. I'm trying to give you some specific examples of the innovation that we're doing and of the things that we're doing that I think could make a difference. I was messaging for women 40 plus, uncover and live your purpose. Yes, I would. I would go, Rosalind, I would go even a layer deeper than that. So yes, 40 plus women, uncover and live your purpose. But yes, we need another layer. Like, what is their specific situation? What is the outcome? And the reason why, Rosalind, is because otherwise it's going to be very hard for you to position the content in a directional way and help people get a result, because they're all coming in kind of wanting something different and on a different path. So yes, to going a layer deeper with that. Absolutely. And that was a great question. Thank you. That's a great question about group coaching. I still focus on 12-month programs as far as group coaching. However, one thing that we are bringing back that we did very successfully a few years ago is we had an a la carte menu. And this a la carte menu was kind of the beginning of how we started building out additional entry points. And then out of that a la carte menu, I actually ended up creating several other companies that are now separate companies in the portfolio and operating completely on their own. But one of the things that we're doing in the business advisory is we're bringing back our a la carte menu. And why are we doing this? We're doing this because it is an easy way to wow people. It is an easy way to get that first yes, so that people can have a taste of working with one of our strategists in a meaningful way. And then after someone has already gotten a result and someone has already had that experience, it is so much easier to then upsell them into a longer term program. But Aaliyah, I love that you brought that up, because I do think that that is a concern for people coming out of the gate when they're in this market and they haven't worked with you yet. There are a lot of people in the market of today, and this is different, guys. I want to emphasize this is different. Okay. There's a lot of people in the market of today that are like, I don't want to sign up for 12 months with someone. Like they just don't want to commit to that. And they don't necessarily want to commit to that because they don't feel attached enough to you yet. It's not that they won't commit to 12 months. We still sell 12-month programs all day. Like pretty much all our stuff is long term. So how are we combating that? Well, we want to keep our 12-month programs because our clients are winning. They're having success. We're getting results. We know the work that we do is deep and it takes a while, but we're complementing that. We're complementing that by creating power hour offers, some 3-month coaching opportunities, small group VIP day opportunities, single VIP day opportunities. So I love that question so much, Aaliyah. And I don't think you necessarily need to go and shorten your program. Although if that's the feedback that you're getting repetitively from the market, then you need to listen to your market. Everyone's market is different. But what I would say is, I would think about what are the complements to that that you're using to get people a quick win, a tangible ROI, and to get them over those psychological hurdles more quickly to get them to the yes. Hopefully that makes sense. Thank you for that. Thank you for that question. Michelle said, "Can you clarify multiple offers, feeder and signature? Not enough." That the answer is it depends. The answer is it depends. I would say definitely your signature and your feeder are your cores. But if you're trying to sell every day and you want to have something that people can buy directly from social media, directly from your email list, and directly from the DMs, without doing a launch or without doing sales calls, then you may want to complement those with something that is an easier yes. Right. And so I'm not going to give a one size fits all and say, like, you have to do this or you have to do that, because I really believe you have to read your market. You have to read your audience. You have to see where you are. Right. And for some of you, if you can just sell your feeder direct every day in between launches and then retarget your own feeder clients in a high ticket capacity, perfect. But some of you may feel like you need other things in between, that don't require a launch or a phone call or whatever the case, that your team can be selling every single day. And in that case, you may want to think about complementing those offers. Okay. These are really, really good questions. Yeah, and that's it, Stephanie, exactly, right? It's not one size fits all, and I always recommend at the end of the day, I'm here to give you a lot of different ideas and thought processes and to point you in the right direction of how to think, and then it's up to you to really listen to your intuition and listen to your market and then select which components of what I'm talking about you want to apply and how you want to apply them, okay? So these are amazing questions, by the way. And I just want to let you all know that if this is like good for you and you're getting some insights and it's helping you move forward, you can book a free strategy call with a member of the business advisory to learn more about how to apply these things that we're talking about and what it would look like to work with us in any capacity, whether you're looking for a high level consultancy, you're looking for a 12-month mastermind type experience, or you're looking for something more singular like a VIP day. You can go ahead and book a call with the business advisory. Just comment book a call in the chat, and our team will reach out and to get that set up. Okay. And they just gave you the link there on the screen, so you can go ahead and get started there. All right. The third thing that we're going to talk about today is brand preference. And I cannot emphasize how important this is. People are no longer buying a product in a vacuum, period. And what I mean by that is, for the last 10 plus years in the online world, if you were marketing an offer that people liked and you were marketing a result that they wanted, they would buy from you. And what's happening now is people have many more criteria to their buying decision than they did. Why is that? Because people have made multiple investments in the online space now. They've experienced a lot more. They're a lot more clear on what they want, the kind of person that they want to work with, the kind of team that they want to work with, the kind of experience that they want to have. So people went from uneducated buyers that had very loose criteria to very educated buyers who have very specific criteria. Okay. And so, more than anything, like 100x beyond anything that you could believe, your brand is absolutely make or break in today's market. Make or break. And you have to know what you stand for as a brand. Like for me, I stand for family first. one of the things I very frequently talk about on my social media is my position is family first. And to give a specific example of what that looks like, even in my coaching programs as well as outside my coaching programs, I had someone ask me a question on strategic advisory yesterday in our coaching program. And it was a question around making a decision in the business. And she mentioned that this area was causing a lot of tension between her and her partner. And my feedback immediately was, we're not going to do something that's going to create tension in the relationship. We're going to prioritize the health and the sanity of the family. And then the business decision can then come next, right? And I guided her through that decision, right? But that's an important part of my stand, what I stand for, what I believe in as a brand. So that is also translated in the way that I do my social media. I frequently talk about family. I frequently talk about faith. I frequently talk about my role as a wife and as a mother and what that means to me and why? Because I am here to guide and to lead and to serve people that are also family first. I'm here to support and guide and lead people that also share those values. And I know that the people that tend to be drawn to me, that matters to them. So they are looking for a mentor that has made space for things in their life outside of just business, right? And I could go on and on and on, and you could apply this in 1,000 different ways in your business. And again, I'm not here to be prescriptive. I'm giving you examples so that you understand the point that I'm making. And the point that I'm making is people are no longer buying your offer just based on your offer. They are buying based on brand preference. And so, if you are not making a consistent and steady and frequent effort to clarify for the market, who are you here for? What do you stand for? What is it about you that this is what you do, but this is the why behind what you're doing and the why driving you to do it. And these are the things about the way that you do it. Right? So write that down. There's the what, there's the why, and there's the way. Is this making sense to everybody? The what, the why, and the way. And if you think about making sure that you are consistent in how you're doing that, it is going to allow you to build a brand that stands the test of time, that is going to lower the skepticism and lower the fear factor and lower the concern that people have around investing in you because they feel like they know you. And this is why being consistent with your social media is so unbelievably important. Okay. So the what, the why, and the way. And if you can understand the critical nature of that, that's going to go a long way for you. The other thing is, new statistics came out for 2024, and I don't have the data in front of me right now. I don't have the exact numbers, but I think it's something like, people are consuming 7 hours of your content, 11 different times in 4 different platforms or something like that. People are really taking the time to do a lot more due diligence now when they're buying from a brand than they did before, which is why when you look at your content pivot in the third quarter, it is incredibly important that you are doing your weekly live show, that you're putting out long form content, that you're doing your due diligence with your launches. I say to people all the time, a lot of people think that the only purpose of a launch is to make sales. And what they don't realize is launching does as much to build your brand as it does to make sales. And a lot of the sales that you make outside of launch that you think have no correlation with launch are because of launch. And that's what people don't understand. And they're so kind of in the micro of the sales that they make in that launch that they miss the whole point, which is that like your whole brand is being built by people coming and spending those hours consuming with you. You can accomplish all 7 of those hours getting people to attend one of your full and complete launches. And so for that reason alone, even if you made 0 direct sales from your launch, for that reason alone, it is worth launch cycling. My whole brand was built that way, And so I think it's really important also to recognize that the push in the online space has been very much around short form content for the last 3-4 years. It's been all about stories and reels and edutainment and all of these other things, and that pendulum is absolutely swinging back to the other side. All those things are great for like grabbing attention, but they're not the things that are going to drive conversions. Okay, let me be very, very clear about them. Great for grabbing attention, not going to be how you're driving the conversions. And so making sure that you really are thoughtful about what are you doing with your long form content, and how are you making sure that people are able to quickly and easily get through those 7 hours of consumption in a lot of different ways, depending on how they come into your brand. Obviously, why I love podcasting. I talk about this all the time. For me recently, I went from going on 2 podcasts a week to going on 4 podcasts a week, and I'm doing that consistently. And why am I doing that? I'm doing that because I understand that getting exposure to new audiences is basically like the most valuable thing that I can do to support the team and to support the brand's ability to grow, right? So you need top of funnel exposure, you need middle of funnel nurture, and then you need bottom of funnel conversion strategy. Okay. So when you think about brand preference, couple things that's important to know about the third quarter. Okay. Advertising and acquisition costs are up, and they're much slower than before. So it's really important to recognize that whereas in a growth cycle, because the market is moving so fast, you spend the money on a launch, you deliver the launch, you make the sales, and you make the money that you spent plus so much more all in one fell swoop. And it's really important to understand that there's, in many instances, a 2 cycle delay now with the new leads that are coming in to buy your high ticket. Many of them will go through 2 launches before they buy. They'll sit a little longer in the ecosystem. And this is why 2 things. Number one, you have to double down on your organic strategy. The launches that we've had that have been really, really successful in the last 6 months, we had massive amounts of organic traction. And it's where a lot of our sales came from. Okay. Because the people that are coming in from ads, they just need longer to be nurtured. It doesn't mean they're not going to close. It just means they need a little. Okay, so that's number one. The other thing is just understanding that your organic is really what's going to carry you in a market like today. When you think about the third quarter and the fourth quarter of this year, more than anything, it could be simplified down to one word, and that's relationships. And your relationships with your current customers, your past customers, and your warm market, that is where the really high growth companies are going to be having their success from. Advertising is going to be a very important part of your strategy long term. Because remember, when you do the right things to build the foundation in the short term, you're going to ride that success for many months into the future. Okay. So advertising should absolutely be a part of your strategy. And it's a very, very important one. I run branding ads constantly, list building ads constantly, lead ads for launch, the whole deal. Okay. But I am not reliant on that for us to make our immediate sales. And that is a completely different thing. If you have a really super short form mindset where you're micromanaging those leads coming in from the standpoint of if they don't convert right away, you're kind of tossing them aside and then you're going and running more ads, you're just throwing money in the street. It is really that relationship that is ultimately going to translate into conversions. Okay. And what I love about the strategy that we're talking about today is that with running ads and with knowing that those conversions for high ticket are going to take a little bit longer, the way you can think about that is your organic is always feeding those daily sales with those things that you bring to market. It's always feeding your high ticket. If you have some impulse buy offers that you create, you can put those in front of ad leads right away. And if you give them a lower bar to hop over, you can get them to that first yes and then nurture them up into the next step. And that can help you to liquidate those ads. Okay. So your brand is going to carry you. People are buying based on brand preference. It's about the what, it's about the why, and it's about the way, and making sure that all three of them are a part of your brand and your go to market strategy every single day is going to be absolutely essential. I would say the final thing that I'll note on that is just that it's all about relationships. And when you think about getting to your sales targets for the third quarter, you will have to be better about managing the relationships that you already have versus constantly chasing new leads. And so the difference is a go to market strategy that's all about marketing attraction in a growth market versus a sales and growth strategy that is all about database management in a mature market. It doesn't mean you ever stop advertising. It doesn't mean that you're not still doing all the things that you would do in a growth market, but it's understanding your expectation and changing your behavior around how you're getting to your objectives. Okay. So I'm going to pause there for today. We made it through three of the quadrants. We're going to come back tomorrow. We're going to spend our entire session tomorrow on innovation. And so I think that that's a great question, Jane. I'll talk about that in just one second. There's a couple things I just want to go through before we wrap up today. One, if you have not completed the health check, you're going to want to go ahead and do that now. Okay, so team, if we could go ahead and put that in the chat again, that would be fantastic. If you have not completed the health check, that's just going to give you kind of your focal points really quickly. And based on your answers, then you'll get like some directional feedback from the team. Number two, if you're watching this session, whether you're on the replay or whether you're here with us live, you can comment, book a call on the feed, or you can use the link that the team is putting in the chat right now. And you can book a strategy call with the team to really nail down what is your lowest lying fruit, what are your easiest entry points, how do you need to shape and shift your offer, your pricing, your go-to-market strategy to grow quickly in the third quarter. If you want to have a conversation with our team about that, you can use the link that Krista put in the chat there for you and go ahead and click to apply. Okay. Thirdly, tomorrow, what we're going to do is I'm going to talk to you about the top 10 ways that you need to be thinking about innovation in your business in the third quarter in order to kind of break through that noise barrier and get back to making sales quickly with ease and to be able to see the level of growth that you want to achieve in your business. So that's at 12 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Don't miss it. We're going to go through that fourth quadrant, and there's a lot to cover there, which is why I'm going to dedicate a whole session to it. Finally, if you watch this session today and you got any value at all from it, do me a solid and share it out. It would be so amazing if other entrepreneurs just like you were able to go through this session, get value out of it, take a new action, get a new insight. So if you don't mind, share that out. And I would love to hear from you all. I'm going to take a couple questions now. I would love to hear from you all. Feel free to post a question in the chat down below, or feel free to just comment with one of your takeaways from today's session. What did you get out of this conversation today? I would absolutely love to know. Okay. Jane asks, how do you reconcile the challenge of the attention economy, short content requiring little time consumption versus long content for conversions? Jane, I think that they are both important and meaningful. Short form content, like I said, gets attention. Long form content gets conversion. Right. And so when you create your go to market strategy, you want to have a balance of both. You need content that is short form to pull people into your brand. And then you need long form to move them through that know, like, trust, buy process. I think for a lot of people, they really swung the pendulum way too far. A lot of creators and a lot of Instagram gurus that were teaching about edutainment and doing all the funny, entertaining reels and doing all the pointing and dancing and, all those things over the last couple of years, they've come back. Many of them have had to create completely new accounts because they are attracting hundreds, thousands, sometimes millions of people, but they weren't converting anything because, yes, you're getting a ton of attention, but you're not converting anything because they're not your ideal buyer. They're not people that are coming to you for value. So, be really careful with that. Do what's in alignment for you, do what's integrity for you. Focus on a balance between them both. But remember that, yes, we want to grow our audiences. Yes, we want to grow our platform, but we want to grow our audiences and grow our platform with people that are going to be qualified and want to buy from us, right? Which is why I think staying focused is really, really important. Do we have any other questions that came in, Krista? Okay, feel free, guys. You can go ahead and post a question on the chat for me there. Go ahead and post a question on the chat and comment on the chat with your biggest takeaway, something that you got out of the session today. And if you shared, let me know that you shared in the chat so I can personally thank you, because I really appreciate that. Okay. Eric said, do you think it's important to be omnipresent or focus and go in depth where I believe my client hangs out? So I think that what is important is you need to, at minimum, have 2 platforms that you're on, one of them not being a meta product. Okay. Because if something happened to Instagram or Facebook, they are interconnected, they are owned by the same parent company. So the first thing that I would say is be present on at least 2 platforms consistently every single day, because you need an insurance policy. That's number 1. Number 2 is focus on building your email list. Your email list is unbelievably important. So I would make sure it's 2 platforms and an email list at minimum. I would start by doing those really, really well. And then once you get that up and running, it's working, it's growing, it's converting, then I would start to expand out from there. Great question. Thank you. When you launch, you only show one offer still. I have a 10K 3-month offer for a group coaching program. Should I jump to 12 months or 25K? What's a monthly price that people are still willing to stick with? Okay, so to answer your question, yes, we focus on one core offer in launch. And to answer your question, we've had success this year at all different price points, Bobby, and it is so unpredictable and hard to choose. I would probably say, start with your 10K, and do that 3-month, and then maybe jump them up in the next one, or upsell them on the back end. It really depends. It really depends, Bobby, if you're going to have cold traffic coming into your launch that are just getting to know you, or whether you're going to have really warm traffic coming in that are already pretty bought in. If you have warm traffic coming in that have already attended more than one launch of yours, they've been in your world for a while, go for the 25. If it's going to be people that is cold traffic and you're trying to just get them in the door for the first time, I would probably go with the 10K. Yeah. Great questions. Thank you all so, so much. Make sure that you book your call with our team. You can comment, book a call on the feed, or you can click the link that the team has put there for you. I really enjoyed this conversation today. Thank you, everyone, for your questions, your comments. I hope you had some great takeaways. I'll see you back here for a discussion on how to innovate in your business in the 3rd quarter to get your sales moving. And I look forward to seeing you all back here at 12 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.